Walker is a member of Ahmadiyya Muslim Community who believe in a Caliphate system that centres around peace, prayer and non-violence. Thank you for joining us, Adam.
Morning.
What was your reaction amongst members of your community to the death of James Foley?
It was one of absolute shock. I mean, we immediately denounced the tragic and horrific murder of James Foley, and really our prayers are with his families and for many years, and we will continue to stand up against extremism and try and play our part in the wider campaign to stop extremism.
And how do you react to the group's plan to set up a caliphate or Islamic state and the use of the word caliphate?
Well, I think the use of the word caliphate, their particular use is they've hijacked the term itself. It was never intended or meant to serve the purpose that they are using it for. It's purely a vehicle for political success, inverted commas, that they're trying to bring about. And it's a very powerful concept in terms of how it can manipulate young people, particularly people that don't have clear leadership and don't have clear guidance and don't understand the peaceful and pluralistic teachings of Islam.
And is that how you teach the word caliphate to be used? How you mean it to be used?
Absolutely. The purpose of a caliph is to succeed. In the initial caliphate that lasted for 30 years was to succeed the Prophet Muhammad, and the caliphate that Muslims believe will come in the latter days, that we believe are these days, is a caliphate which will follow the precepts of prophethood. And that caliphate purely is there as a spiritual means for helping people to become closer to God. It has to serve two key purposes, and one is that it helps people to become better individuals, and by that I mean to be able to help and serve society better. And number two, it should promote and help to protect the rights of everyone in society, and that includes the Yazidis, that includes women, children, men, Shias, Christians, and that's what we stand up for. That's what we teach young people, always have done within the UK, and there are tens of millions of Ahmadi Muslims across the world who have all pledged allegiance to Caliphate. They're all very proud of the term Caliphate and Caliph, and we're very distressed at the fact that this has been manipulated by the likes of ISIS, but we're very also clear in the fact that ISIS itself is not something that we believe will survive, because it's purely political, and that sort of organization is due to die its own death, I believe.
Adam, I just wanted to ask you a question, ask your opinion on something. Yesterday here on 5 Live at this time, we spoke to a number of women, Muslim women here in the UK, about their response to new legislation about radicalisation of young men. So we were talking to the mothers, the sisters, the daughters. And one woman said something which just caused a lot of response from our listeners. She said that she had 3 young boys, the eldest being 14. She said she was bringing them up as British Muslims, but she said, I have taught them that first and foremost they are Muslim, and secondly they are British. And this caused a big response from our listeners who seemed to find it difficult to understand that you could be both, that in some way Muslim values ran counter to British values. Can you give your response to their concerns?
Yeah, I mean, in June, not too long ago, 5,000 of us gathered in Surrey, and we pledged allegiance to Islam, and we pledged allegiance to Great Britain, and we raised the Union Jack, and that was 5,000 young British Muslims. And we see no conflict between the pluralistic values of Great Britain and the values of Islam. It's distressing that people have manipulated Islam, misinterpreted it, that hate preachers have used it to attract people towards a representation of Islam which we reject, that calls people towards violence. I can only apologize, even though it's nothing to do with us, but apologize for the fact that that's come about, and assure people that we work tirelessly with tens of thousands of young people to engage them in social activities across the UK and across the world to actually help their neighbours, to help the wider society. That's what Islam is there to serve, and if it doesn't serve that purpose, then it simply isn't Islam according to how we believe it. So therefore, in terms of people being British and being Muslim, and in terms of mothers bringing their children up in that kind of way, I think that that's how they should be brought up. And I think that they should be made to understand that respecting the rights of all people in society, respecting the rights of minorities, of women, is something that the Prophet Muhammad practiced. It's something that he practiced for the duration of his life. And it's something which people today have hijacked, and they use the Prophet Muhammad and Islam in order to further political gain. And we as a community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, are here to try and win back with love what's been lost, unfortunately, by these evil people with their swords and their hatred.
How do we move on from this, Adam? A senior Conservative MP, David Davis, has said that British jihadis should be stripped of UK citizenship. Do you agree with that? Is that one way to move forward?
I looked at the what was proposed, and I think it's far too early for me to give an informed opinion about that. But one would hope that the rights of individuals as citizens to be able to express themselves freely, even if we really disagree and hate what they say, are balanced with the rights of everyone to be protected and safe. And we always put our trust in the government, in the sense that if they suggest something, then we hope that the government itself is doing what's best for the people. But as the law unfolds and we get to see how it is implemented and it works on the ground, I think we can probably have a better view of whether it's a positive or negative introduction to society.
Similarly, Yvette Cooper, Shadow Home Secretary, says extremists returning to Britain should have to go to compulsory de-radicalisation classes.
I don't think that's unfair. I think if people have gone abroad and they have been radicalised, I think that we should send out two messages. I think one should be that in a country like Great Britain that stands for helping people, we should look to try and regenerate people and get them back into society in a positive way. But at the same time, if they do have extreme views, then we do have to do something to tackle those extreme views and to help them. And that goes back to the law that you were mentioning before, that if the law is positive, and I don't know whether it is or isn't, I hope it is, then that's one thing, but that shouldn't detract from the fact that we do need a massive social movement amongst the whole of the Muslim community, and that's what we do within our community and society as a whole, that we come together and we say that, look, we can't we have to do something about extremism, and we have to socially, as a people, as a united kingdom, deal with this and let young people know that it's not right. And I think the way to do that is to engage young people in society. The ignorance is there when there's a gap between people of different backgrounds, people from different areas of walks of life. And when you get people out there doing even simple things like raising money for charity or clearing up a local dump site, it sounds like a mundane small thing, but it has an enormous impact because they get to help society and meet wider society. A lot of our young people regularly go and they clean out local churches, they help to clean local synagogues, they arrange meetings with atheists. They have, they're engaged with all sectors of society. Okay. So that's what we hope is a positive thing, and that more people can take on.
Adam, thank you for putting your point across this morning. Adam Walker.